Hello, everyone. I am Lily May, and welcome to another installment of the virtual Glambitious 2020 Expo. I have two amazing ladies that we're going to be dialoguing with today. So I'll start with Suzanne. If you could introduce yourself and just tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne Peters. I am the CEO and founder of Woman to Woman International Network Incorporated. I'm author of the book How to Create the Life You Want, and I am also a motivational speaker and financial empowerment coach. That about sums it up.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Adriana, if you'll introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Adriana LaFaye, known to my readers, but my name is actually Terria Taylor. I am a self published author of Trials and Tribulations. I am also one of several co authors of Glambitious Guide to Winning in 2020 with Lily May. And I am a book mentor as well as a speaker.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And again, I am Lily May, creator of the Glambitious brand. I've created the platform as a one-stop shop for entrepreneurs to gain resources, income generating programs, exposure opportunities, you name it. So I encourage you, if you're tuned in, to visit theglamceo.com to check out the many opportunities we have available for you. And if you're interested in participating as a panelist this summer with our virtual events, you can find details there as well. Please also follow me on social media at I am Lily May and at Glambitious IAM. So ladies, we were definitely kind of chatting before the recording about how this is a weird time in the world. So what do you feel like, has been your biggest challenge in this season as it relates to your business? Suzanne, we'll start with you.
For me, dealing with this challenge, just coming to terms with things mentally, as in realizing, okay, this is really happening. Because the type of business I'm into, I do a lot of events, or if I'm not hosting an event myself, I'm speaking at an event. So it's like everything just changed overnight, and it was just an eye opener for me. And on a personal side, I think I'm still coming to terms with it. I'm not there yet to the point where I am still refusing to go outdoors unless I have to. So my business is concerned, had it not been for this virtual world, my life would have completely been at a standstill.
And what about you, Adriana?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see where Suzanne is coming from, because I felt, especially in the beginning, with all the back and forth with everything, how it was just as bad as the flu, or then it's not as bad as the flu, and then just how everything has changed. How it's affected me and my business is honestly the business side. The books are still selling, but I actually kind of, I will have to say I withdrew a little bit. Like, I stopped writing a little bit. I stopped just kind of being involved. And once I actually, got into it, like, hey, this is actually a good time for me to write. This is actually a good time for me to be productive and use this time, wisely. It took a little bit, but I'm getting back to where I feel like myself again. And, even though I'm not going out, but as often, but I am still, I'm getting back into it, put it that way. It did take me for a loop at first.
Yeah, I definitely think it took us all for a loop, which leads to my next question. What are you incorporating into your daily regimen to assure that you have a healthy balance of rest and productivity? And I'll start with that. For me, I allow myself the grace to have days where I do nothing. I just allow that grace. And, it's weird for me because I'm usually so productive and so driven to have a day or two where I do nothing at all. But it's like I have to allow myself that. And I consider those to be mental health days, because you can't hold yourself to the same standard you did before all of these, crazy things started happening in the world. So that's one way that I allow myself to have that balance. What about you, Suzanne?
What I started doing recently is being more intentional with my time. Now I'm actually planning a step-by-step time schedule for my entire day. I can tell you what I would be doing between 12 and 2 on any particular day. I am just more intentional with that time, but I'm also, like Lily said, taking time for yourself each day. I take at least 2 hours for myself. Those 2 hours, I would read, I would watch a movie, I would do whatever I want. But when my time is concerned, I think I learned to spend it a lot more wisely.
Hmm. And what about you, Adriana?
Well, I mean, not to piggyback off of both of you, but exactly. Yeah, just taking time for myself. Realizing that, like she said, time management, and that's what I had to learn how to do and get back into the swing of.
Hmm.
So that is what I'm doing. Making sure that I'm utilizing my time, because I still work full time from home.
Hmm.
So I do the full time job, and then when I'm off, I give myself time to relax, and then I hop into the business as well. So yeah, it's just incorporating. Another thing I actually did was, I had fell off again once everything hit. I kind of stopped doing my exercises, but I started back, and that's actually helping me with my rest as well. That's giving me a lot more than what I was getting before. So yeah, just incorporating a lot of different things: the time management, the exercise, and making sure that I'm making time for myself still.
Gotcha. And so one, I guess you could say, lesson that I've learned as far as like a business lesson that relates to what we're all going through is that it's very important to have like well, I guess in the game world, they might call it a kitty, but really it's like a business savings that's separate from your personal savings. And that was a lesson, that I was grateful to have business savings, because I lost so much money from all of the events that I had to cancel this year.
Mm.
And, I've been in entrepreneur for 10 years. I've planned events around the country. I've never had anything like this happen, but I was grateful to have business savings to cover a lot of the unexpected loss, so that
Yeah.
was
Right.
my biggest business lesson in this season. Adriana, I'll start with you on this. What do you think was your biggest business lesson in this season?
My biggest business lesson was having multiple streams of income.
Mhm.
Learning to not just depend on one source.
Mhm.
So that's definitely what I've worked on during this time, is to increase multiple streams of income, so that this will not be an issue if it were to happen again.
Mhm. Mhm. And what about you, Suzanne?
My biggest lesson was a bit different, but yes, multiple streams of income, because had it not been for that, I don't think I could have been smiling the way I am today.
Right.
Mhm.
Because of on the financial side of it, being a financial empowerment coach, I have multiple streams of income set up. And although COVID was causing so much chaos in the world, it did a lot for me on the financial side where business is concerned. So yes, it was bad, but on the financial side, it was good for me. I'm not happy with how this all came about, but just it more or less confirmed that it's needed. And now I'm trying to actually
Mhm.
encourage more people to do that. So hopefully we'll get to talk about that soon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so switching gears a little bit, and this is a question that we had planned to discuss during the expo. And I think it's still relevant now, maybe even more, because relationships and managing relationships in this season is different, like we have to connect with people differently. So I'm not sure if you ladies are single or married. Which is it for you ladies?
Married.
Married and
I'm married.
Mary. Okay, so
Mhm.
I'll be the singlepreneur, and we have the wifepreneurs here. So as a singlepreneur, it was like, oh goodness, now it's going to be different balancing dating while stuck in the house,
Right.
while dealing with, just
Yeah.
accepting what's going on in the world. How am I going to balance all of that? So that of course took a back burner. But as a wifepreneur, are there any tips that you have for women that are married and in quarantine and, kind of up under their spouse now 24 hours a day? What would you say, Adriana?
Thank the Lord, my husband is a truck driver. um, but yeah, I know a lot of people are going through it, who are, with their spouse, like you said, almost 24/7 now. And I just hope and pray that you're with someone that you love and like, because if you are not, it's going to be a tough time. Any tips that I could give, just even though you guys are in the same house, you still have to find time for yourself and that space. You know, just because you guys are quarantined does not mean that you have to be stuck up under each other the whole time. So still give yourself that space. You know, even if it's 15 minutes in the bathroom, you know, just find space.
And what would you say, Suzanne?
Space is essential. I have my office, but in my office, I also have a lounge area. I take my time there and I read my book, and that's my relaxed spot. He has his man cave. So when we are not together, we are separate in the house. He's in his man cave, I'm here. So space is essential. But what I would advise any married businesswoman out there, let your husband know, no, I can't play with you right now. I have to work. Because he has this idea. My husband is a sweetheart, but he can also be a pest. He can be a pest. And when I should be working, if I'm not careful, I would be cuddled with him watching TV, or we would be playing a game or going bike riding or doing something. I had to actually draw a line. And I said, listen, not because you're home, that means I doesn't have anything to do.
Right.
This is still work time for me. So I had to actually draw that line. It was tough at first, but I eventually got the hang of it.
Gotcha. And so for the single ladies, I guess, that might be watching this replay, my advice to you would be to consider online dating. And if that gets overwhelming, you know, connecting with so many people, because there is a high volume of people online, I would say to just pour in your extra time and energy into your spiritual life and into self-love. So that could include exercising, you know, doing things in nature, going for walks, doing at-home workouts, you know, doing more FaceTimes with family and things like that, reading more books. I know me personally, I had not really been reading like I used to. So this is giving me time to actually pick up a physical book or to download a book on Audible so I could listen to it while I'm cleaning up the house, you know, redecorate, organize your closet, clean your space, you know, just anything that pours into you and your environment. I think this would be a good time to do it. It's definitely going to be lonely sometimes as a single woman in quarantine and, you know, being just focused on your business all day. But I think there is a good space to build and enhance your spiritual life so that you can attract, you know, a great person, whether it be online or whether it be when you're masked up in the grocery store. You might catch eyes and then that'd be in that form. You never know. So, you know, God works in mysterious ways. Just keep that, you know, this season will work for your good as well.
I want to add something to what you said there, please, because a lot of people I have even met personally don't believe online dating is a good thing or that it's even possible to meet Prince Charming that way. But hello, represent. I met my husband online, and this is like we literally had a romance from the beginning. And at that time, I was still in the Caribbean. I was still in Trinidad. We had a long distance relationship for over a year before we got married, and I moved here. So it is possible. Happily ever after does exist, even online. I just wanted to put that in.
How long have you been married?
2 years.
That is so exciting. I have friends that met their husbands online as well. So, you know, ladies, you know, this would be a good time to explore it if you have not. And if you're not going for it, I just think it's a great time to work on your spiritual life, your mental health, your physical fitness, and all of the things, you know, that you can work on to enhance how you feel about yourself and your self-esteem. So speaking of like self-esteem, self-love, and confidence, you know, any tips for maintaining that type of thing right now? Because, you know, we can't really go get our nails done and go get our massages and our pedicures, things that really kind of make you feel good. You can't necessarily do safely unless you're willing to risk it all. So what are you ladies, you know, I guess tips for maintaining, you know, self-love and self-esteem in this moment? And Suzanne, we can start with you.
I get dressed up at home for no reason sometimes, just for the fun of it, because even during the day when I'm in work mode, what I started doing is, well, that went again in line with my routine. But what I started doing is getting dressed up as if I'm leaving the house, even though I'm going nowhere. Now, I won't do it every single day. I'd be lying if I said I did, but majority of the times I do. And sometimes when Huzzy is home, I just get spruced up and I'll put on something sexy, because who doesn't like a couple compliments? But it does a lot for you on the personal side. You wouldn't say it, but you'd be like, oh, stop. But it's nice. Not because you're home means you have to be all rumpled and ruggy looking, still take care of yourself. Still do the things that will make you feel good about yourself. No reason to stop.
Absolutely. And what would you say, Adriana, are some ways to kind of maintain self-confidence and self-love during this season?
I have to say I definitely agree with Suzanne. While I do not get dressed up every day, it, it it has to be a mental thing, honestly, because being quarantined kind of puts you in the mindset of, why do I need to? You're just, there's no reason to. You just need to be comfortable every day and everything. But honestly, I would say do what makes you feel best. If it's being in your jogging suit all day and that's what makes you feel good, then that's what you should do. But don't don't do anything that's out of the ordinary, that's not going to make you feel good about yourself. So even if it's, doing your own nails, or like she said, sprucing herself up, just do what makes you feel best. And then that'll help with your self-love, your self-care, all of that. It'll all fall into place.
Absolutely. And me, I've actually been doing the same thing as Suzanne. I definitely put on makeup a couple times a week in an outfit. And I'm in quarantine alone, so I'm really dressing up for Lily. But it does, even though I'm not going anywhere, one of my friends always laughs when we FaceTime because they're like, where are you going? And you makeup on. And I'm going to the balcony, okay? What I'm dressed up for. But it does make me feel good, and it gives me a bit of a pep in my step just to, act normal, even though I'm not going anywhere. So another thing I've done is learn how to kind of do my own pedicures and order things on Amazon that allow me to nurture my body, like body scrubs and, nail files and just, pretty nail polish and things like that, so that I could still, nurture myself, even though I'm not going to get my manicures, pedicures, and things like that. So I definitely encourage ladies to, still keep up with those beauty treatments that you used to do, but do them at home for now, because it still, helps give you a pep in your step. I also, random, but aromatherapy, I think is really good too for kind of feeling good, like when I light up a candle that smells really good, it gives me a pep in my step, and then as well, I think we should all definitely be exercising, because they're calling it quarantine 15, and I refuse to gain the quarantine 15. So exercising has also been a way that I'm maintaining, like self-love, committing to myself and choosing to eat healthier, because even though we're eating at home now, we can still eat pizzas and cookies and all of those things as comfort foods because of what we're dealing with mentally in the world. It's easy to get in the habit of baking cookies just for comfort because it's a lot going on. And so that's another way I think we can show ourselves self-love, is by adopting a healthier diet at home and eating healthy, fresh vegetables, fruits, smoothies, and things like that. So those are kind of my 2 cents. And so I think another thing that, helps with, how you feel about yourself is your spiritual life. So for me, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts and sermons pretty much every day, at least 1 or 2 every day. So what are you ladies doing to maintain your spiritual life right now? And we can start with you, Adriana.
I was talking to my grandmother, who just turned 96 this year.
Wow.
And she's like, baby, get into Acts. So I've been reading my Bible, trying to get into a routine to where it's every day. And so as soon as I wake up, that's the first thing I grab, have my my prayer time and reading my scripture. And because I am working from home, I'm doing a chat job. I can listen to music in the, so I'll have my gospel music playing in the background. So that's fueling me all day long.
And what about you, Suzanne?
I think we have a lot in common. But I actually got that from my husband. From the day we met, he has, but actually before we physically met, you know what I mean? He has this routine where every single day, before he even have coffee with me, he would go and he would kneel, and on his own, he doesn't even want me around him. That's his time with God. And he would pray and he'd read his Bible, and I always admired that. And I only started doing that a couple of weeks ago, and it has made such a big, big difference. Usually on a morning before, when I have my coffee, I would just go and sit and read right in my room here. But when I started changing things up, now I would listen to gospel music and I would just meditate and I would just talk to God. I don't necessarily pick up the Bible and read most of the times. I'll just talk to God. And it just does something for you. You just feel different. And you know that no matter what comes that day, you know things are just going to go the way it's supposed to go in your favor. It just communicating with God more, it has really done a lot for me.
I think that's fantastic advice, to develop a routine specifically, like something that you're getting up and doing every single day. I think because sometimes, you know, we go to God when things go wrong, but it's like, no, you got, when things are okay, that's the time to get in the word, and that's the time to pray and be grateful and stay in that space of gratitude. Don't just wait. You need to kind of build yourself up so that when, you know, life happens, you have that, you know, reservoir of the word inside the spirit. So I definitely think that routine part is good. And, you know, I think we've definitely gotten away from the kneeling down and praying, you know, you know, in the millennial world. So we might talk that idea, but I think there's something to that, getting on your knees and praying as well. And that's something I plan to incorporate more into my day, is actually, like you said, getting out of the bed and getting down on my knees. I think there's some type of submission or humility that makes it a special connection or special prayer. I don't know, it could be, but I definitely think both of those things are great advice. Getting in the word and developing a routine of communicating with God in the morning before your day starts. So, you know, I'm an advocate, you know, one of the advocate people on Instagram saying, you know, 2020 is not canceled, you know, no matter what happens. And people are looking at me like, really, Lily? You know, I'm hoping like, this is going to be your best summer. And they're like, really? And I'm like, something special is going to happen. They're like, aliens going to come out of the sky. I'm like, really, like pushing, like, no matter what happens, I'm pushing that this year still has something special in store for us, some blessings and miracles and things of that sort. So, you know, how are you planning to make the next 6 months your best 6 months? And we can start with Suzanne.
Oh, I plan to, over the next 6 months, I'm challenging myself right now to defy the odds. As in, the next 6 months, I plan to make my income for last year, regardless of COVID or not. I'm getting tongue twisted now. I'm sorry. Regardless of COVID, because what I realize, even now, a lot more people are realizing the importance of putting things in place for themselves. A lot more people are realizing the importance of having additional savings. They're realizing the importance of doing things differently and being willing to step out of their comfort zone to create the life they want for themselves. So in encouraging more people to do that, I also challenge myself to accomplish certain goals that before, like at the beginning of this year, I was just more or less laid back on. But now I decided, you know what? This COVID isn't going to win. I'm just going to step the game up a bit and push even harder. You know, so yeah.
What about you, Adriana?
Wow, I just love what Suzanne said. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So for the next 6 months, okay, so right now I am still mentoring several authors who are wanting to get their books published, you know, within the next few months. So I'm working on that. If things go the way as planned, I will be attending be a vendor at the National Black Authors Festival in Houston in October. And I'm still working on the sequel to Trials and Tribulations. So hopefully by, you know, 2020, that'll be ready to be released. So I'm still trying to be busy. And, you know, even with my other business, just, you know, helping people, like she said, get everything in order. And I think a lot of people, because we didn't expect it to be the way that it was, a lot of people didn't have their ducks in a row. They didn't have anything lined out. A lot of people didn't even have a will. So that's what I'm trying to help, you know, family and friends with, getting things lined up. Even as something as, you know, your will, you just never know. So yeah, definitely working on all of those.
Gotcha. And how can the viewers like stay in contact with you guys if you want to share like your website, social media, or any call to action if you're offering coaching calls or anything that you might be offering that can help the viewers? Suzanne, if you want to share your information.
Sure. You can connect with me online at at the Woman to Woman Network. That's on Facebook and Instagram. My website is womantowomannetwork.com. Or can I give my number? Or you can just call me, message me, 912-358-8797. I'm used to it. People WhatsApp me from India, Nigeria, Ghana, England, you name it. I love it. Reach out to me.
Awesome. And for you, Adriana?
So for me, you can connect with me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TT Tells It All. You can reach me on my website at official. So it's not at www.officialadrianalafay.com, and my email is info@officialadrianalafay.com. So I am, even though I'm helping others with getting their books out, I am still taking, other mentees. If you are writing and you're needing help, I'm open. So definitely reach out to me.
Fantastic. And again, my site is theglamceo.com. And so we have a co-author opportunities if you want to write a book with us. We have a webinar opportunity where we can co-present a webinar together on anything that's your expertise. We have speaking opportunities, ebooks, webinars that teach you how to do your own public relations, become a paid speaker, build your brand. Again, we're just the one-stop shop for entrepreneurs. So if you have any questions, again, visit theglamceo.com or follow us on social media at Glambitious IAM, and my personal page is at I am Lily Mae. So I do want to leave the viewers with like a motivational quote or affirmation. So I'll start. My favorite, I guess, it's a scripture actually. My favorite scripture that I've always just kept close throughout the years is, if God is for me, who can be against me? I think that's a scripture, right? I don't know. I got it from somewhere. I don't know if it's the Bible. Look, before I need to get more and more words, so don't judge me. I'm like, wait, is that
no judgment?
Okay. None at all.
No judgment.
But we'll say my favorite motivational quote is, if God is for me, who can be against me? And the reason, that means so much is because I feel like, especially as people of color, it feels like the world is against us right now, as people of color. And so it's like we have to remind ourselves that God has the final say, and that, all things, work together for the good of those that love the Lord. And that's another quote verse that I love, because we have to remember that even though we're all going through a challenging time in different ways, that if we continue to work on our, spiritual life and give God his time and gratitude, that this still can work toward, something for our good. Like if you really believe it, it really can work to your good. So those are the two quotes that I would share. And so, Adriana, if you want to share like an affirmation or quote or scripture that is close to you.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite is my go-to Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, because without him I have no strength. And with trying to do it on your own, you get overwhelmed and you just it just doesn't work without him. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the main things that I've learned through this whole journey is, it took me 19 years to get to where I am right now, and that was because I was trying to do it on my own. And so once I put it all on him, then I it's been nowhere but up ever since. So that is my favorite. That's why I go to it all the time.
Awesome. And what about you, Suzanne?
I don't have a quote, but I do have a saying that I believe, and because I believe this saying, I was able to change my life drastically in just a couple of years. And that is, no matter who you are, where you're from, you can literally create the life you want. You just have to first believe it and allow the how to come to you. But first, you have to be open to it.
Awesome.
As long as you believe it, anything is possible.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And I think that is a great way to close the expo. So thank you, ladies, for hopping on today.
Thank you.
Thank you to the viewers. Please make sure you connect with these ladies. They both have, really sweet spirit, and they're both passionate about helping women in different ways. So please make sure you follow them and connect with them. So thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.